I'm currently at the Subaru dealership and I'm looking at getting a new Matilda, Matilda's big sister. The guy's going to go look at financing right now and see if maybe I'm going to be the proud new owner of a new red Subaru Forester 2017. Not quite as old as Matilda, a little bit younger. Yeah, let's see how this works. So the loan was approved on a completely different car. I'm not in a Subaru anymore and I'm not in a manual. Man, I'm kind of sad about that. However, surprises, I'm going into a Honda and I love it. A Honda Pilot. We're gonna go take a tour in a minute. Yep, they're detailing it now. This is super exciting. It is such a good thing that spirit can be trusted, intuition, God, Allah, Brahma, whomever anyone else subscribes to. Spirit and I have been chatting all day and had been for a few days, and I had been kind of working up to wanting to make a change in my life regarding my vehicle and just not really wanting to deal with, I don't want to pay for anything. I'm very comfortable where I am, and I was kind of resisting that change. And okay, so, but I listened very closely. I listened very closely to my intuition, and it's not always as clear as if it was, this being piped in. So yesterday, I was driving around doing some hiking and doing some sightseeing and, just kind of mulling some things over about, okay, another way that I went to go do something that I was pursuing that crashed and burned, okay, apparently that's not it. Let's go retool and, okay. I didn't have my heart set on it. I just knew this is an exercise in discipline always. There, Kate, just move it in that direction and go there. And so it wasn't a huge shock whenever it didn't work out, which is fine. It wasn't a huge shock. It was more just get out there and start doing something. And yesterday when I was driving, it's in the 20s, it's pretty Colorado cold. And yesterday I had my 15-year-old car, Matilda, for a year and a half almost. And for some reason, just got home and making my dinner. So for some reason though, in that whole amount of time that I've had her, I drove her 2,000 miles to get to Colorado and I've had no problems. So she's ancient. She had a lot of miles on her. She started kind of just sounding funny and, I was getting that inkling of, I need to make a change here, which is why I went the other direction in some other interest. And nope, not that change, Kate, just go back to the drawing board. So yesterday I'm up, going into this mountain and doing my thing and sightseeing and what have you, and I got in it and turned on the heat to defrost everything, went out and started scraping out my car and everything, and no heat. Sorry, no joy in that. You're gonna ride to the mountains cold and you're gonna ride home cold, and that's, that was a little bit of a, that's really uncool. I just plunked some money into her in the fall, some maintenance issues. I'm not really looking to replace much of anything in this. Nah, if I'm replacing something, I'm replacing the whole vehicle. And I was kind of just laughing about that, yeah, right. Pardon me, yeah, it hung up in my throat just like that. And I told Spirit, I said, are you sure, really, you're gonna force me into this by taking away my heat, And so this morning when I woke up, I was planning to do so much, different. And I was planning to do this and go here and go there. And I was thinking, well, maybe I'll go look at a new Subaru. So I go online and look at online and see there's one Subaru dealer in town here in Colorado Springs. And like, all right, let me look and see what their used inventory is. And I see something that piques my interest, but I don't really go deep with it because the message really was just get up, get dressed, and go be flexible all day. Okay, okay, I'm learning. Well, I go do the few errands that I need to do, and all of a sudden I find myself moving towards that Subaru dealer, and I went in, and darned if the guy that I run into first doesn't offer up the Subaru that I was in question of. I didn't tell him that was the one I was looking at. I just said, this is what I'm looking for, blah. He goes, yeah, I think we have something, blah. So looks at it, and for whatever reason, it's some cherry car that I guess, no, you're not gonna be able to do that without a much bigger down payment and a cosigner. Well, I don't have a cosigner. I'm not ever doing cosign thing again. If I can't pay for it myself, then I'm not gonna have that. I lost on a few of those cosign deals really badly. So no, that, and I don't have anyone that I would consult for that. Wouldn't even remotely know who I would ask. And so I said, well, all right, that one's, and it was an older car. It's weird how the car market works and loaning and all that other stuff. I don't understand it, but whatever. It was a Subaru Forester, and it was a nicer one, a little more tricked out than Matilda was, and the loan wouldn't go through. Okay, I'm still in credit recovery from a horrible experience a few years ago, some identity theft issues, and a divorce costs a little bit. But anyway, I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking, Spirit, why am I here? Why am I here? This is, this is enough. I don't like doing this. Why am I here? Well, you just sit here, sit tight, be still, and hush. I'm like, okay, so I was listening to some music and just rocking out, jamming, doing my thing. And the guy comes back and goes, well, how about, this? And we start negotiating with a deposit or a down payment. And, I was feeling like, I don't know, this is my savings. And I was starting to get that. And okay, take a breath, Kate. Let this man tell you what they have. Let him just say it, because you're under no obligation. There's no contract. There's nothing but him just talking to you. There's nothing wrong with this. You don't have to be frightened of this process. Let him explain you on what they have. This man showed me a Honda Pilot. I was not looking at a Honda. And in 2019, I was not looking for a Honda. I was looking for a Subaru, I thought. However, my intention when I went out was, I'm looking to be in divine flow. I'm looking to be in alignment with everything that is for me and only for me. So please show me what that is, whether I get a car out of this or not, a new car or not. I have one and I'm good, so you tell me. Well, we sit there and we negotiate back and forth, and it took a minute. It took a minute. But I got my car. My speaker in the other room is dying, if you can hear that, saying, please charge battery. She'll shut up in a second. But we got it, and I ended up with a 2019 Honda Pilot that's huge. It seats like 6 people or something. It has all the cargo room for all my gear for hiking and snowshoeing and all these other stuff, right? And even more telling was the fact that when I talked to him about my car, I said, yeah, there's a couple of things. I had some work done in the fall, some pretty major work done in the fall. It's older, obviously, and the AC doesn't work. It doesn't appear that it's going to be heating anymore, and cruise control got a little issue and everything. And so he comes back in and he goes, well, yeah, he goes, your car actually has quite a bit on it. We're not gonna be able to give you quite the trade that you were hoping. But dude, I had no idea there was that much wrong, because it did have some major repairs done in the fall, and unfortunately, either the people that repaired it didn't know what they were looking at entirely. It wasn't the most top-notch mechanic shop to begin with. However, I didn't know really what I was dealing with. I'm foraying into area where, as a divorced lady, I never did any of that stuff. I didn't have to worry about or deal with maintenance and mechanical issues on cars. I didn't have to know too much about it, because my ex-husband did take care of those kind of details. And so thanks for that. I do appreciate those years I got by on that, but it was a little scary to have to go and like, oh no, what do you mean? Well, you get it fixed, Kate. That's how you work that. And then pay more attention about where you're going to do that service in the future, because it was kind of, and doesn't matter. Bottom line is, Spirit is always looking out for us if we care to be in that flow, that divine presence and universal energy, source energy, God, Brahma, Allah, whatever we choose to believe in that holy place, is always looking out for us. And so I sat there praying. I said, if it's been turned down for the one that's actually younger, then how's that going, or older, then how's that going to work for a car that's younger? I don't know. There's something about the mileage and all this other stuff, because it's got some extra mileage on it. 808 just passed. But the point of it is that I had no idea a couple of days ago that I was going to own a new car today, and it forced me, while I was sitting in there for a few hours just waiting, kind of going back and forth with, how much are you willing to let go of, Kate? How much are you willing to let go of? And I finally said a prayer. I said, all right, you tell me, Spirit, how much do I need to let go of? What's it gonna take to either get me out this door with a car, or get me out this door to go figure out how I'm gonna get Matilda better looked at? Which way are we swinging on it? Because I'm willing. And I was kind of scared. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little scared, because I went without funds for a long time. I was on a real what do they call it? A shoestring budget. I was on some serious tight quarters there on what I could buy and when and how and all that other stuff. And I didn't have a car for a couple of years. I Ubered everywhere. It was super duper expensive. So I was starting to feel, my colon seized up a little bit. I'm like, no, how much of that car payment? And, that kind of thing. And it was forcing me. And I was so grateful because Spirit just said, you are going to walk out of this dealership one way or the other. You're going to walk out with this car, or you're going to walk out with Matilda, one or the other. However, you have a vehicle secured underneath your booty when you leave this place one way or another. And it's going to be on those wheels, or it's going to be on those wheels. Trust us. Okay, and I want you to know, I swear, that within about 10 minutes is when it all resolved. I said, please just, whatever I need to do, I'm willing to do it. And that's how I roll, that's how I ride, is that it makes sense to me to do it that way because it used to be so treacherous. Everything was treacherous. I was terrified of everything, and I couldn't tell when my intuition was going, that seems weird. And so I sat there and like, okay, let's go back to basics then. Do I feel any kind of uneasiness? Do I feel that, oh no. What I was feeling was the normal anxiety of a woman who's been hanging on to her money and saving it hard and who's been through some tough times. So I could let that old way of life, that old PTSD response run me and miss a perfectly good opportunity. This car is beautiful. It's pearly white. It's very lovely. I don't generally like white cars, but it's got a pearl to it, and it's very pretty. It's huge, and it's got a nice interior, and it has a map, a GPS, satellite GPS that probably newer cars I've had for a minute, but I didn't know that. And that helps so much because I was just looking at a GPS, a Garmin GPS that's like $500 that I really wasn't looking to put that kind of money into it. I'm like, cool. And I just kind of saved $500 in my weird little thinking perhaps. But to me, that was demonstration from the universe that you got your needs met. Not only did you get a brand new car that's more reliable, and now you can go driving further because I never would drive very far, more than about an hour and a half away from home, and I wasn't going to go 11:11. Thank you. I didn't go. I wouldn't go. And so now I know I can safely do that. I've got all kind of coverage on stuff that I didn't have before. And I have all kinds of camera access and a satellite GPS that when my Wi-Fi goes out with my phone, I'm kind of hanging and winging it with, my paper maps and what have you, but it doesn't make me feel the most comfortable. So it was just a confirmation for me that within a few minutes of saying, I surrender to this process, you tell me what I need to do. They came back and the guy goes, yeah, they accepted your offer. And I'm like, oh, really? Okay, cool. Because it had been so, tentative and touch and go and touch and go and touch and go. And now, not only do I have a nicer car, a newer car, more mileage that I can go, better coverage, all kinds of coverage. I didn't have any before at all. Now I have a towing capacity that's double what I had before. So I'm ready to start pulling camping behind me a little bit. Then I can do that if I so choose. So the reason that I'm saying this is not to gloat about buying a new car. It's to say that I'm very happy to know that the discipline of listening to Spirit is what's most important to me always, because it helps me to make really great decisions, much better decisions than I'm just winging it and leaving it up to my monkey mind or my past to leave me in too much fear to let go of the money. That Spirit was saying to me, do you have the money? Yes. Well, have you always had the money? No, it took a minute to get there. Well, okay, since you've been turned around and you've been plugged in and we've been guiding this with you, have you had the money? Oh, yeah, I have. Then why would we start lying to you now, precious? Oh, I guess you wouldn't. So this is not just me making anything up? Nope. Hop in that car right quick and see that GPS satellite thing and know that this is your car. It's for you. Take it. So I have my Honda now is named Hondo. My other car was Matilda. And now I have Hondo. Hondo and me, we're going to start trekking around even further, which is so exciting. 1313, because that's really what I want to be doing the most, just driving around this beautiful state of Colorado to see all these gorgeous places that it was just too intimidating and too unsafe, for a very good reason, to take Matilda any further than about 2 hours out. And then, nah, especially up in mountains where there's no Wi-Fi, that's a bad plan. So I try not to go willingly and wantonly into those places. So anyhow, I hope that's helpful. If there's some way that you can translate that into your world, I've got my burner that's ready for me to put my leftovers on it and learn how to drive this car. It seems like such a behemoth, man. I had trouble finding a parking spot because I would didn't want to try to wiggle in between cars. So adjusting and getting getting used to the newness and the change, and release and let go. It's always a good time to release the old, because when we release the old, new has to come in. There's no other choice. That new cannot come in sometimes because we're blocking it with what's the old. So when Spirit guides all that, 1414, synchronicities just rule my world. Thank you, Spirit. So anyhow, that's how that works for me, and I hope that that somehow helpful, and I hope you're having a beautiful day, whatever part of the day you're in. Enjoy your day, friend, whatever you do, and get inside, and remember, within your skin, you're divine. It's absolutely fine. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye, friends.